Right, all in this video I'm just going to go through some quick diagnostics if you've done your programming and for some reason it's not working or your helicopter won't start or something like that. So I'm just going to go through a few checks for you to check just to make sure everything that's been done in your programming is right, and try and get you flying if there's something wrong. Right, first thing we need to do is power up your helicopter and your transmitter. I'm using the exact same program I used in the previous video, so just to prove that there's no problems with this programming. There's a couple of things to check. One person set it up fine as it is. Another person, when we went through, his endpoints were out for some reason. So we're just going to go through that and discuss these reasons. But first off, connect all your helicopter up, get it powered up, and connect it to your H1 software. So connect it to the computer via the USB. We heard the computer make its noise, so it's accepted it. Find the helicopter. Right, I'll just zoom in on the software so you can see what I'm doing. That should just about do us anywhere about there. Right, first off, what we need to do in the software is find your helicopter. My helicopter is COM12, and press connection. Right, there we go. We're all in. We're all into helicopter. Now, as before, when we first off, make sure that you've done your stick calibration. This is one thing you have to have done, is your stick calibration, which is this one here. So after you've done your stick calibration, as before, you can hear the helicopter moving, all our sticks are working. But now check your switches as well. So the switch you've assigned to motor run stop should be activating that bar there, which is your motor run stop. This bar here is motor run stop. So I'm flicking the switch that I programmed in, which was F, which is a two-way toggle, and there we go. That's working fine. So if we go down to the auto flight, which you need a three-way toggle switch for, in the middle position, I'm going to circle fly. Into the bottom position, it's going to 8 fly. So now we know the auto fly button is working. We know our motor stop button is working. Now to the GPS. So if I go into GPS, it goes into the middle position, which is GPS. If I come towards me, it goes return to home. And if I went to the middle and my switch was down, I go into 3D mode. So as we can see, my GPS switches are all working as they should. Please note, if you've programmed ATI in, which is that one, it's no longer highlighted in the GPS like it was before. It's just gone down slightly. That's ATI. And if you were to program 6G, 6G would be about here. So, but it will only go all the way down when you're in 3D mode. But make sure you do all that. Check all your switches are corresponding as they should, especially your motor run stop, because that's going to enable you to start your helicopter. Basically, you've checked all them and you've done your joystick calibration. That's just about everything you need to really do to double check your programming is working. There's everything else, like I say, when you do your magnometer calibration, it's this one here. Magnometer calibration is quite crucial as well. You got your low voltage return, it tells you your satellites. I won't go into that, but just make sure your switches corresponded, as I said, and then there we know that part of your program is all good. So now we're going to go through the TX. So if we disconnect from the software, take the helicopter out, and let's zoom back out. Right, there we go, back to the bench. Right, now with the TX, a few things to check on here. So we've got to unlock the screen, and we're going to go into the menu. This person seemed to have problems with his endpoints, which I didn't have on mine. But check your endpoints. All your endpoints must read 100, 100 on the channels that you're using. Obviously, it says 75, 75 there, but that's channel 6. We're not using it, and we're not using those channels. So don't worry too much about them. You, of course, if you want to put them at 100, 100 and you're using auxiliaries, yes, do so. But they're not necessary. You don't have to have them at 100. But channels 1 to 5 have to say 100, 100. Channels 7 and 8 have to say 100 to 100. And if you've got the FW450, you're going to need channel 9 to say the same as well. So if they're not saying the right number, this person said channel 5 was not saying the right number. Now, if you notice on this side, we got low and high. That is, you switch in the low position and high position. So when it's in that one's highlighted, see, and we move the dial, the left number will move. But then if we put that switch in the other position, and it's now changed over to high there, now the right hand numbers will move. So go through all them, make sure every single one of them is at 100, 100, and we should be fine. So that's that. Double check your endpoints. Look at that screen, pause the video, take a screenshot, but try and match that, and you should be fine there. Go to your reverse. Excuse me, I think my dog's got a hairball. Reverse points. Again, on that one, only 2 and 3 are reversed. Again, you've checked this in the software, so you should know that's working. So you've checked your auxiliary channels. Check your auxiliary channels are right, and you've got the right switches. If your switches were not working in the software, put another switch to it. And again, channel 6 isn't used. Channel 7 is your motor run. Channel 8 is your root fly. Channel 9 is going to be your auto invert on the FW450. Channel 5 is your H1 controller. It has to be channel 5. I've had one person send me a picture and it was showing it was on channel 7. So that can't be channel 7. So if we go into attitude mode, and you can see it says channels here. If we spin that dial, it will change channels 7, 8, 9, 10. But that has to be, the attitude mode has to be channel 5. So make sure that's like that, channel 5. You shouldn't have any problems there. And also go across to system, check in system, and go down and double check that you've selected 12 channel mode. We need 12 channel mode because we're in S-Bus, and that's 12 channel configuration. You know if you've done that right, because when you go to your auxiliary channels, as I said before, you've now got 11 and 12 in the bottom corner. So that's one way to diagnose if you've done that properly. But apart from that, as long as you've done all of those things, everything is corresponding in the software. Now we go down to the heli. You notice I've got the purple light on because, well, blue light. I think purple's return to home, isn't it? So yeah, blue light. There you go. We're in 3D mode now. So in 3D mode, if everything is set up properly, when you do your sticks down and out, or out at 8 as some people call it, I get the flashing light on the H1. At this point, I can hit motor run, and there you go. Motor will start. Don't try and do sticks down and out with the motor in the run position because it won't work. So you have to have your motor switch in the motor stop position. Do your sticks down and out and wait for your flashing light. But one thing I'll point out now, watch the flashing light. It's just stopped. If you go down and out like that, right, you've got your flashing light. You're now walking away from your helicopter. You're going to quickly have a look around, check everything's done, and then you're going to go to start your motor. But if you've waited this long, bang, you've got a blue light on. If you don't hit motor run stop within, I don't know what the timing is, it's like 7 seconds or something. If you don't hit it in 7 seconds, then you're going to get a solid blue light and your helicopter's not going to start. It will only start when the light is flashing, it will be green if you're in GPS, obviously. This is just for demonstration purposes. I wouldn't take off in 3D mode. But when you've got your solid green light and you go down and out, it's only active for about 7 seconds. So if you decide to walk away from your helicopter and you don't press it in time, it won't work. The light has to be flashing. So after you've unlocked your helicopter, you've got to press motor run within 7 seconds or it won't work. And as you can see, it's working absolutely fine. So follow all those tips, people, and there's no reason why this handset shouldn't be working on your helicopter. If you've got any problems, put something down in the comments below, and I'll do my best to address your issues and help you out if I can. But go for your programming. As I say, I'll unlock that swing, double check your endpoints, which is that one, double check your reverse, check your auxiliary channels, check your system, and there's no reason why it shouldn't work, especially if all your switches correspond on the software, all your stick movements correspond, you get a flashing light. There's no reason why you shouldn't get a motor run stop if you're doing the right procedure, whereas you're doing down and out flash with a motor run stop in stop position, and then when you get the flashing light, start the motor within 7 seconds. So that's just, as long as you follow all those guidelines, you shouldn't have a problem. I will point out something now. This is a really bad location to set up a helicopter. These helicopters really suffer with magnetic interference, which I'm just discovering at the moment. If I'll give you an example, if you ever get something like this, which is a slow flashing red light, as I move towards that speaker, look, I've got a slow flashing red light. That means there's magnetic interference in the area, obviously, because I'm near a speaker. But if you ever come across this and you've got the red flashing light, you've got magnetic interference. So get away from the area you're in and give it a fresh magnometer calibration too. Sometimes it'll be doing that just because it needs that calibration. So if you ever see a slow flashing red light, that means you've got a magnetic interference in your area and your helicopter isn't going to operate properly. See, it's gone now. And as soon as I go close, it will flash. But please, at the same time, don't confuse that with ATI mode or 6G mode, because when you put it into those modes, you get a fast flashing red light. So that's not magnetic interference, that's 6G or ATI mode. And again, look, that's a fast flash. If I move it towards the speaker, I get the slow flashing red light. The slow flashing red light indicates magnetic interference. So this is why it's hugely important not to fly anywhere with magnetic fields close to us. And it's not just speakers and stuff like that. There's all sorts of things that can cause magnetic interference, be it power lines, be it a smartwatch on your wrist, be it your mobile phone. All of these things can cause magnetic interference. So it's a good place to check. If you ever see this in your flying area, take a little walk in your flying area before you fly. And if you get a little light like that, you know there's magnetic interference in the area and not to fly. But follow those tips. That was really just a little bonus tip on the end. It's nothing to do with setting up the TX, but check all those things I've just pointed out there. Check everything is working on the software as it should. Get a flashing light. There's no reason why you shouldn't get it running. As you can see, that program I've programmed in and showed everybody made by Huey Start. So please just follow them. Any issues, like I say, put something down in the comments and I'll do my best to answer your questions.